microphone. Hi there, I'm Danny Henderson, and the lady in the screen has been requested to come back. This beautiful goddess sitting here, this spiritual teacher, this woman of wisdom, this lady who has her own show called Cosmic Oracle on Facebook and YouTube. Cosmic Oracle is about to start a new session, May the 18th. May you find your spiritual tools through BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey, should you be looking for them. Oracle, Cosmic Oracle, Facebook and YouTube. Now, we're going to get into some subjects today, and they are you in your body? Welcome, BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Danny. Yeah, we were talking about that today. Okay, right before I got on with you. This is the normal mornings for people. I have my coffee, I go online, I check my videos, I check my emails. And by then, like this morning, I went to Greece, online. I went to Egypt online. I went to a friend's thing for a little bit of information. And so by the time I got here today, my auric field and who I am was so inundated with so much stuff that I had to remember, where am I in all of this? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Because then you start creating your life from the outside of you. And that's so much more work to go through to get to you, and it changes and different views of you. And then there could be someone who's mad at you. And so that energy comes into you. And then someone's judging you and that energy comes into your body, or someone is in love with you and that energy comes into your body. So all these views and all this energy and all this information and all this stuff starts overwhelming who you are, and you lose yourself in it. I think that's really easy to do. So you're having your life following other people's ideas for you, when it might be easier to just take a moment and really go inside and remember who you are and start in this inner sanctum, this inner part of me that's, who knows, without a doubt, who she is or he is or we are, so we forget that sometimes. So that's what I was thinking about today before we called each other.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I love that. It's important, so important to get back in the body. Sometimes, like I said to parents, when their kids are like out there and they can't get them, like gently tap on the head, tap the crown, tap the shoulders, get into our own habit of tapping. Where am I? Am I here? Am I physically, or am I out here? Have I gone through, am I just in my mind and out, or am I physically present in my physical vessel? I was telling you, my beautiful friend Sheila was saying the same thing yesterday, and I've been saying about having Sheila on the channel, but Sheila pisses everybody off. She just has to walk in the room and everyone gets jangled. This woman is pure love, but she gonna tell you what time it is, and that's something. And she comes from a non-judgment space. She just says things that people don't want to hear, because we want to be all precious, and we don't want to face the fact that we're at a time of ascension. Our planet's ascending, whether we know it or not, whether we care to match her energy or not, but we don't have a choice because we're in agreement with her. So we better be aware of doing some of the inner work. Absolutely. So Lindsey, BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey, beautiful lady, because we were talking about Robert the Bruce and Lindsey, so my dyslexic ADD brain is going, oh, another conversation. So Barbara, darling, could you give us a very basic idea of how somebody grounds themselves into the body?
Okay, well, there's a grounding. Here's what I do, and it's kind of interesting. I'll whistle for myself. Okay, I'll go. I'm not a good whistler, but it's like, hey, Barbara, over here, and I have a terrible whistle, but if you whistle, it's easier. It's like, and that's a clue for my body to bring my auric field real close around me, like 18 inches to 3 feet. So it'll just come in around me. So I'll just go, hey, body, come here. Kind of like you would ask a dog to come to you. Right. It's kind of like that. It's like, hey, auric field, come on around me where I need that protection. I need a little bit of solidarity around this body protecting it. And so I'll whistle for it. And I'm not a good whistler, but I'll whistle for it in my mind. And so I can do that anywhere. I can do that when I'm driving. I can do that when I'm talking to you. And I'll just whistle and bring it in. So like when you're talking and you're having what we were talking earlier, your mind and your body is all over the place. A good way to do it is just to whistle for your energy to come back from wherever it is. Another way you can do it is if you close your eyes. Number one, it turns down all the other information, right? That's a beautiful way to just get centered automatically. Now, not when you're driving, of course, okay? But just close your eyes for a moment and feel where you're sitting in the body. Sometimes that's all you have to do. And then if you say, hey, buddy, and then you can put your hands out and you can imagine your auric field way out there. Mine's way out there right now, so I'm going to bring it in. And as I bring it in with my hands, it's like a colander, and all that excess energy just leaks out. So that all I'm left with now is my energy. And I'll have it right. So I'll just kind of scoop it up and kind of play with it and bring it around my feet and around my head and around my arms. And then I'll bring it in. And then I'll just hold it there for a minute and really own it. And when you can own your own energy, you know it's your energy because it feels good. Okay, so you start to feel, hey, I'm pretty awesome.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
love it. I love it.
that.
And what's so beautiful about what you're sharing there is you're actually giving yourself consciously time to put attention on what does my own energy frequency signature feel like when it's really in my body, when I'm physically back in my body. Years ago, from my former mentor, Chris Lamont, Dr. Chris Lamont, who I have on my channel a lot. I remember him teaching me years ago. He was like trying to find the edge of my aura. We were doing metaphysical experiments on each other, you know, feeling energy and seeing what we could do, seeing if we could reflect. Like if I think about orange in my third eye, can my partner pick up that color? And just beautiful, really, because we're so brilliant. We're so clever. Humans are so brilliant, as you know. And then he was like, he came to find the edge of my field, and he's like, holy shit, Danny, you're all the way out here. Like, stop trying to heal the world, girl. Like, nobody likes a hero, a victim, or a martyr. Like, pull it in. I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. It's like consciously just pulled my energy in and pulled it tighter around me. And I do that. I do that. I remember years ago, I had my clinic on Harley Street in London. So I'd work on my job on television, counseling the general public, giving them card readings, angel readings, or therapy. Then people would book me to my clinic in Harley Street, number 1 Harley Street, actually the original Florence Nightingale's first little hospital. That was my suite. Yeah, it was amazing. And the energy and the beings in that room, incredible. But yeah, now completely forgotten what I was going to say, but it was about pulling in energy, recognizing your field. It might come back to me, but yeah, getting grounded in the body, and yeah, not being a hero, a victim, or a martyr, because you know nobody needs that. But anyway, with Chris, he would feel the edge, I'd pull it in, and I would feel stable. I would feel grounded again. It was a beautiful way to be, and this is a very, very important tool for people that don't know to have awareness of. Then they can start to play with their own energy frequency, right?
Right, exactly. And because if you know where your energy is, it gives you choice of where you want to put it. So I'm sitting here, I'm in my center. How do you know you're in your center? It feels good. You feel relaxed. And if there's any tension, during the day, you build up so much tension. I have so much tension in my neck and shoulders at times. I don't even realize it. So I'll talk, like you were saying earlier, talk to my body and let go of that tension. And for me, I hold it in my shoulders and neck. Some people hold it in their jaw. Sometimes I hold it in my stomach, especially my second and third chakra, because I feel everything, because I'm an empath, you know, and isn't that a wonderful thing? You know, that I have the ability to do that when I want to use it. But when I'm like at the mall, I'm shopping, I want that second and third chakra turned down. I don't want that energy there. I want to be in, in my upper chakras, or in my heart, so I can choose where I want to put my energy to give me the best advantage, in a way, of how I want to empower my day. So it's
Yeah.
yeah, so I try and do that. So if anything, over the years, I've really built a really strong body being communication. So I know where I am in my body, and I know when I get kicked out of my body. How do I know I get kicked out? Is that I don't have any energy, or I'm in a bad mood, or I'm depressed, or I'm pissed off, or I'm not all those things. And I'm not saying it's okay to be all of those things, if that is who you are and where you are. Be 100% pissed off if you're 100% pissed off, right? But when you're just got up and you're making your coffee and you're not feeling good, you're feeling kind of crappy, you could have picked something up on the astral, you could have picked something up the day before, or you went to bed with 100 people you talked to on the phone the day before. So you want to clean your energy and clear your energy. And at first it takes a little effort, but then it becomes like turning a switch on and off. So
Yeah.
it just takes but it does take effort, right? We were talking about this. I can give you ideas and all of that, but you got to take the action, and you got to do the work. And that's the way it works. And that can make you feel uncomfortable, and it's not convenient.
Brilliant. Yes, spiritual hygiene is such an important thing to recognize. We do have a duty to self, of self, for self, and respect and love for self, to clean everybody else's, even our partner sleeping next to us. We're picking up he, she, whatever they are going through. I remember what I was going to say about Harley Street, London. So where my clinic was, number 1 Harley Street, it's right close to two of the busiest shopping streets on the planet, Oxford Street and Regent Street. And I remember one particular time leaving my office to go for a break in between patients. And I start walking down Oxford Street, and I'm suddenly aware, because there's just too many people, like they're everywhere. There's people everywhere, Barbara. It's crazy. It's like Christmas, everybody's shopping, right? And it's like 10 wide either side of you. And then I suddenly realized, oh my God, I am picking up, I can hear their thoughts, I can feel their feelings. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in the soup. Danny, get out of the soup. And so I have a beautiful tool, and I call it Be the Giant. And what I do is I consciously have awareness of, okay, you cannot sit in this density right here, right now. You need to shift up so you can manage your own self. Don't be a martyr, don't be a victim. Nobody likes those people. Those days are gone. So I basically focus on my inner self, and I imagine, let's say I imagine my lower chakra first, root chakra, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll imagine myself coming up 7, the crown, and I'll go and sit up in the 8th. I go and sit up in the 8th chakra, the Christo, the Christ consciousness, the universal light that's ours, our connection to source. And I'll sit up there, and I'll just imagine I'm up there in that energy frequency, and I'm literally looking down, because I've shifted my energetic frequency where I can acknowledge, I can even beam love, but I am no longer part of the trauma, the emotional, physical trauma that is so palpable when I'm walking down the street. And that's a beautiful technique to use. Be the giant, up, 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 and out, ladies and gentlemen, right? It's a beautiful one.
It is. And also, like, when you do power up in that 8th, I always see it as a large spiral that you're bringing in that information. And sometimes when you're bringing it in from the 8th and spiraling it down into the crown and into the 7th, into the 6th, into the 5th, into the 4th, and then you can take it all the way down and ground it to the earth, right? So you're grounded, so you have that perspective, and you're walking on the earth at the same time, and then you meet in the heart. And it's kind of the teaching from Sasquatch too. It's sitting in that heart zone where we haven't felt safe there for a very long time. And so it's reconnecting in that heart center as well. No matter where you are, but if you have choice, you can be in the 8th, you can be in the 7th, the 6th, you can be in all the chakras, right? But I like that, being in the 8th and really claiming your power. not only your physical body power, but that spiritual power that you run through the body. So it's that strong connection. And most of the people that you meet, I would say most of them aren't going to know what you're doing at all.
Yeah.
And if they do, they'll be attracted to it and they won't know why they're attracted to you. So a lot of times they'll come up and say, what is it that you do? You know, or they'll, like your friend, be afraid of you. I have some people that are afraid, and that's because you can see what their controllers are, what's controlling them, and their controllers don't want to let go of that being that they have, you know. So
let's go there. Let's go
okay.
there. Well, number one, you mentioned the Sasquatch, which we're going to come back to, Sasquatch love, because you've had many experiences, but also what do you mean specifically when you say their controllers, the being that controls them? What do you mean by that?
Well, fear is the biggest controller. Fear is how they get through. And if whatever our fears are, so that's why I taught firewalking for all those years, is building a relationship with fear. So they usually get into a fear. That's how they can attack you and kind of sit there. And that's where that kind of stinking thinking, I think we talked about that, can come in. You're not good enough, you're fat, you're ugly, you're too old, whatever your fears are, right? Wherever you don't love yourself. So you can kind of thank them for being attacked, because then you can say, oh, I get it now. I'm going to work on that. And hey, you're out of here. The moment you just take your energy from that fear and just dissipate it, then they're gone. So that's why you see people who meditate, have their aura feel really clean and clear. They're not going to have that. They're just not going to have it around them as much. So what it does, it frees you up then to really be a co-creator on this planet.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And it's interesting as well, the word control, the controllers, the beingnesses, the energetic frequencies, the things that we can create of the mind that will take on a form, let's say. So I remember I had an experience. I was in a holiday home environment in Hawaii at Christmas. And I'd been flying from Costa Rica, moving from Costa Rica and stuff, and I'd been to England. I was really, really jet lagged. And I go to this place where I'm going to have a vacation. And I go to the room that's been picked out for me. And I just lay down on the bed. And then I remember I was in between sleep and something sat on my bed. Now, I am so the wrong person for any beingness to come for. I have not even zero tolerance. It is like, I'm going to mess you up if you come for me. No, because of all my experiences as a tiny child, literally physically trying to be suffocated. So, you know, I'm a woman now. I'm a big girl. I'm going to hand you your ass. So this thing, it sat on my bed and I even felt the weight of it. And it's I'm kind of, my eyes are kind of half open, half not, because I'm just so tired and oh my God. And this thing, and I reach out and I touch it and it's physical. And then I'm like, Jeff, like, because I'm so like, and what it was doing, Jeff was my fiance who died very suddenly of a heart attack. And what the being was doing, it was searching my files to try and find an image that would fit Jeff. Yes. In a nanosecond, I realized, let's just put it this way, I never saw it again.
Well, that's where you have permission to lop off a head. You really do. I mean, you can put them in and hook them to the light, but sometimes it's okay to just chop off their heads. Do it. Kali Ma does it. She did it. You can stand on those skulls and you can just, rain havoc if that's what it takes to have your sacred space. So it's owning that internal sacred space and that outer sacred space, and no one gets to mess with that. No one has the right or privilege to mess with that. It's your privilege as being a human. It's your human right. No one gets to touch your energy without your permission. If they do, they're in your auric field. You have the right to cut off whatever it takes. I know I was taught earlier, put them to the light and, and they'll be okay. And I know that's probably okay too, but I have had occasion like that one where just, you can just, it's okay to have permission to destroy. We're given permission to create, but we aren't given permission to destroy. And destroy is also a part of life. You see it everywhere, that we have to, like when fall goes in, where we change our seasons, things are destroyed so that new seasons can come up, you know? So it's kind of like that. I know that's probably not your normal people that say that or whatever, but I'm just speaking from my own experience and what I've learned over the years. So
yeah, well, this channel is for everybody, as I've told you before, to bring our tools and our skills, because everyone's method isn't going to be everyone's method, but hearing different ways to help us build our spiritual, protection is good. In the example I used, there was no time for me to send this being that was sitting physically on my bed, searching my files to try and become something it wasn't. There was no time for me to emote love, which I have done many times and will, and have done and definitely support that. But now and again, somebody comes in, they're in your space, physical space like that, then no, you don't have time to turn the other cheek and read them the Bible. You know what I mean? No, there's no negotiation. It is a zero tolerance. And like you said, we must give ourselves, when our sacred space is invaded by any manner of means, by a religion, by rules, by programming, by commandments, by anything that is just incongruent with who we are as naturally loving beings, most of us, it's okay to push it out, right?
And own it, and it can actually get to be fun. Because it's like in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf says, "Thou shalt not pass." You can do that if you're walking down an alleyway or somewhere where you're not feeling comfortable and you can feel the energy around you that just doesn't feel good and you're starting to feel fearful. You can just own that space. Thou shalt not pass.
Yeah.
And stomp your foot and own your power. And it could maybe make some earthquakes or something, but but we're powerful beings. We're so powerful. And I think we're just learning that in some ways.
The light on our planet that has been so covered up is so bright as everything is taken down. And there are so many people now who are going, hold on a second, you mean I, in my 70s, in my 50s, in my 20s, in my teens, I get to say, no, not today, Satan. In whatever guise you may come in, whatever guise darkness comes in, you mean I can own this mind, body, and soul? Yes, my darling. Yes, you can. Guess why? Because it's yours. And what about people, sometimes you hear parents say, I own you. Your parents don't own you. Your grandparents don't own you. Nobody owns you, boo. Nobody owns you.
I had a teacher, a spiritual teacher long ago, who told me once, I asked him, what's the best way, if you're going to control someone, what's the best way to control them? And what he said to me, he said, tell them that you love them.
Ooh. Yeah.
And yes, right? So I had to learn that the hard way through quite a few adventures, shall we say, until I really until I really learned to love myself first, right? It's so important. So I love myself first and foremost, so that no, I cannot be controlled by that, where someone can control you by taking away their love or giving their love, or where I'm so needy for that love outside myself, that that I need that boyfriend, I need that girlfriend, I need that whatever that is that I need, but once you can have that power back, it's power back and power in and power on and power up and power all over, is the love factor is our biggest, juiciest, most delicious sparkle and fire and connection with source that we have. And it resides within this body. Doesn't limit us to this body though either. That's probably a whole nother talk.
Well, let's touch on that a little bit.
Okay.
Share some of your great wisdom, BARBERA-JEAN, Lindsey, you spiritual goddess, you.
Well, we as a child, when we're children, we don't have any fears, right? We are very little and no limits because we're just exploring who we are and what it's all about. And so we have such delight in things, the small things like an ant or a caterpillar or a butterfly, and I think as we get older, we forget the delightfulness in discovery. And so I always want to be a student. I always want to go out and try new things and experience new experiences, and probably till my last breath. And I think there's a key in that, because in that discovery, you find connection. And in that connection, you find source, and source is right there the whole time. And if you can keep working with that, there's magic in your life. It's really there. There's miracles all the time. It becomes a part of your reality. So you have that awe and that wonder at your disposal whenever you need it. So let's say someone's attacking you or trying to attack you, then you just look at them and you laugh. It's like a kung fu move, like an eternal kung fu move. You mean that's the best you got? Oh, you hate me, or you think I'm this, or you think, well, that's all you got, bring it, so it's kind of like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it really is. And in this time of healing, it doesn't matter who we think we be, every single person is on a healing journey. And I have a theory. I feel that when we have completed all of the things that we came here to do, some people call them lessons, some people call it karma. I think we get a little bit too caught up in what this and that means. To me, it's just like there's a sense of completion. We can never understand when someone dies so suddenly or so young or so quickly, or so they're the best people in the world, they have this, they have that, and then they're no longer here. Well, we're the ones left in pain. The details of their passing is left with us to feel, decipher, grieve, judge, hold. And again, with grief and the pain that people are going through, especially in the last 3 years, let's say, that, the beauty in being able to not apportion blame, not go into that rage, because it messes you up and it keeps you stuck in the physical realm. You can't access your pure joy, your unconditional love for self and healing, and then for others. So coming to basic understandings within self, like choosing, like suffering is a choice. I know it sucks and it's annoying to hear that, but suffering is a choice.
It is. And how do you get out of it? It's so easy, right? It's so easy. It's so easy. And first you have to be aware of it. And I'm so stuck. And then you figure out, frack, I have been doing this how many times, right? How many lifetimes have I been doing this? Like on a financial level, I have a lot of people that come to me on financial. I have a financial, I just can't seem to get out of it. And so it's that part of, if you can take that angst off of it, and to see yourself, and it has to do with visualization, but also it's accepting you right where you are now and becoming that and trying that on and seeing what that feels like. It's kind of like that act as if. I think that's a real good tool to use. If I don't have any money, and I remember Salvador Dali did this, I always think I've already told you these stories, but Salvador Dali was down to his last dime, him and his wife, they had no money and he was a starving artist. And so what they did is they got all dressed up and they went to the tea house with their last coins, and they had one pot of tea between the two of them. And what they did by saying no to the poverty and yes to what spirit can bring, they had their tea. And as they're talking, someone overheard their talking. The person that overheard their talking ended up buying their paintings. And so they got them onto their next steps. And it's having patience for that. We want, like, if I have trouble with, say, finances, and I do some work and then I expect it right then. And instead, it's about letting go. It's a letting go, whatever it takes, and trusting that the next step will be out of it too. So there's a part of a trusting and a surrender, but it's also action at the same time. You take the action and don't expect anything. Just take the action and know, a sense of knowing. All right, ooh, how's it going to come to me? That should be interesting. I'm ready. I'm waiting. Let's do this. And in the same time, do your work and do your things. I don't know if that makes sense at all, but
No, it makes perfect sense. And I really thank you for sharing your wisdom here. Because again, like I said, like we know, both you and I, so many people are looking for tools, metaphysical, spiritual, mental, emotional tools to help them navigate their emotions, their feelings, what they're witnessing in the world. And however we bring them, whatever we bring them on this channel, there are people that are going to mix. There are people that are going to match. There are people that are going to use everything. Some are going to use nothing. And some are just going to go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that there are all these tools available for me to use to help myself navigate this time. Two things here. I love that you said frack. Frickety frack. Okay, that's a good one, BARBERA-JEAN, Lindsey, frack. I'm going to use that, girl. I'm going to use that.
hey, I do it. I use it off air all the time. So
love it. And could you, I know that we've done a broadcast before where we did speak quite in depth about Sasquatch and your connection to the Sasquatch. Could you give us an insight into your connection to them, and what was the heart teaching that you touched upon?
well, I wasn't looking for it. It's one of those things when I wasn't looking for it at all. And I'm in a conversation with Brian Plant, and his RE comes right behind me. I can feel him behind my shoulders. And I wasn't expecting it. I just burst out into tears because there was so much love filled in the room. Oh. And so the next experience, I'm in my car, driving my car, and a Sasquatch comes through the roof. And again, all this love fills my car, and I'm just blubbering down the freeway with my little dog, Mary Margaret, and I'm just crying like crazy. And over the years, I'm kind of fairly new to the Sasquatch too, but I also laugh, and they're going to laugh when I say this. They've been with me all along, and I just never gave them any attention. And they still fight for attention because I'm busy. I'm a busy person. And I go, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So they've been very patient with me. And so what I've learned from them is that in this heart nature experience that we're having, or I'm having, shall we say, it's important that we honor it and value it over information, over AI. Not that it's a us or them. I'm for peace. I'm not against war. I'm for peace. And that's kind of like. But I think from what I get from them, their agenda is, hey, we have been at peace with the world for a long time, and we might have a few things to teach you, little brother, little sister, and if we listen, I think they would fight for us. I think they are fighting for us in a way that we don't lose ourselves like some have lost themselves before, where you go so much into the AI, you go more of it's like doing a video game, more of your energy is out in that video game than, hey, I forgot to eat and I haven't drank water and I haven't went to the bathroom for 12 hours. So it's be mindful of where your energy is, be mindful of where you put that. And in order to take care of this planet, to be with her is to honor her, is to be with her. I don't think she gets lonely, but we're interact together, and we are this one consciousness, but not in a way that Sasquatch wants to be above and below. It's not that way. It's a circle. It's always a circle with them in their teachings and in the work. And the same with doing goddess work, it's a circle. And you've been working with the goddess and empowering women for many, many, many years. And having where no one's on top. Where we go together. That's also a First Nation teaching that is so important for us in the Rainbow Warrior prophecy as we go into these next 10 years.
Amazing. So much there that you mentioned that just elicits so much thought. First of all, I want to honor Brian Bland and his beautiful Sasquatch RE and the clan of RE. And for those out there that don't know, I've had Brian Bland and his partner, Michael Harrell. Hi, guys. They've got a fantastic podcast, Facebook group, YouTube channel called Pork and Beans. Pork, N for and, beans. Thoroughly recommend those channels. You're often on there having long conversations. They do love to chat, those boys. They love to bring it all in, and yeah, it's so good. The pure love aspect of the Sasquatch is something that I've heard countless times from different people who connect with them. And our friend Sunbow True Brother, who I've also had on my beautiful channel, I love that guy. I had him on recently. You know, one of the reasons why I had him on again recently, he spoke at our conference last year at the Galactic and Spiritual Informers Connection. I felt it was really important to have representation for the Sasquatch for all of us who are going through this journey, and its full disclosure on everything that's real and actually right and physical on the planet. And I saw on Facebook recently that Sambo again is just always being covered and stopped and blocked and messed with.
Yes.
And it made me so mad. I'm like, not on my watch, bitches. So I had him on my channel again to promote the very things that the deep state tried to stop and block. I'm like, when are these baby heads going to get a clue? Their actions are futile. There's way too many BARBERA-JEAN Lindsays, Sunbow True Brother, Danny Hendersons on this planet.
That's right.
Planet. Woo-hoo! Yeah! Get your ass down, loser! Where do you live, loser? It's so obvious. It's so obvious.
Yeah, I love Sunbow. He's like the first person that I could say is the most God intoxicated person I've ever met is Har Har Nandaji. He was a guru, an amazing guru. He was the last living student of Sri Rikteshwar. Him and
Yogananda lineage.
Yeah, that whole site. I have a whole story with him that I hung out with him. But the second person would be Sunbow. He's such a holy man. What a man of dedication and light and love, and God, what a connection to the planet. I don't think you'll mind. I'm walking with Sunbow, right? We're at the Sasquatch conference and speaking, and we're going up to a fire thing that he's going to be talking at. And I'm walking with him, and all of a sudden he jumps off the path into the bushes, right? And he comes back and he has all these different herbs in his hand, and he knows each one of them, and he has them for a certain reason, to cast them into the fire to bring different energies to the talk. I just thought that was so amazing.
That's so special, so beautiful. Last year, he lives way up in Canada, as you know, he's a mountain man. And a real man, in terms of he will just speak his mind, he will speak through his heart, he emanates that love. You can feel it through Zoom. Unlike you, I haven't met him physically yet. I've only met him online, and so he speaks with such gentle grace, and he just has an element around him that he's not interested in your negative theories or thoughts. They don't come in. He knows who he is. And his story, where he met 15 physical Sasquatch, 15, an entire clan with the grandmothers and the elders, and with the spacecraft coming over, with his beautiful, was it Kumo? Forgive me, I forget the name right now. His beautiful connection to one such blessed Sasquatch. Can you tell us, before we come to some First Nation teaching information, can you tell us where was and where are these Sasquatch conferences that people are so mad keen to hear about?
There's one with it's called the Sasquatch Family Reunion, and it's June 2nd through the 5th in Kettle Falls, Washington, with Kelly Rainbow Butterfly. And you can find her on Facebook on Kelly Rainbow Butterfly.
Okay.
And on Facebook, I think there's SasquatchFamilyReunion.com. SasquatchFamilyReunion.com. And then I'm going to probably be speaking, it's not sure, but they're going to have a Sasquatch conference in California, in Northern California, up by Mount Shasta, I understand, but I don't have all the details yet, but it's on Kelly's website for that as well. And that date on my calendar, it's in September. Oh, let me look. September. Maybe I even wrote it down. I still do things old style. It's called
Me too.
I
I've got a whiteboard. I have a literal, I'll show it to you. I have a whiteboard with all of my upcoming anyway, it's a green screen, but yeah, I'm an old-fashioned girl as well. You know,
the computer will get stuck or it erases things, and I just
you can't
right.
trust it. You just
Right.
can't trust it.
Yeah.
Kelly Rainbow Butterfly. I don't know her, but I do know, I've seen her name, and I know that she really supports Sambo True Brother. Like,
Oh,
yeah, she's another girl that will just jump in there and go, not on my watch, and
right.
promote his books. And
Exactly. So it's called the Star Higgins Campout, and it's with and I don't know, at Star Higgins Campout, but it's the 8th, 9th, and 10th in Northern California, but the information will be on Kelly on SasquatchFamilyReunion.com, because it's kind of a spinoff of that. It's her second one. She's helping someone else create. So it's pretty cool.
I love that.
About helping each other instead of in competition with each other, that we're helping each other.
Right.
You know?
Why would we be in competition? Why would we be in competition unless someone's not telling the truth?
Yeah.
At this time, information must not be coveted. Information must be shared amongst everybody, whatever beingness you support, a god, an angel, a Sasquatch, or whatever. If somebody is putting themselves to one side and claiming to only be their way, that makes me very suspicious. Very suspicious. We're a unification as a humanity. We are not a singularity. I wanted to come back to the fact that, guys out there watching, some of you are lazy buggers. If you they are, you know, we all like, oh, you know, Danny's going to put the link. I'm not putting one link that this lady just said. You heard her say Kelly Rainbow Butterfly 4 or 5 times. You heard her say Family Sasquatch Reunion. If you cannot record that yourself right now, I guess you're not going to get the information, because I'm not giving it to you. We got to teach that. We got to help people. They always go, Danny, what was that? What was that? What was that? Like, we have a minute here to record on our phones information or make a note on our phones. Like a second, it takes a second, you know. Like, you know, I'm doing my best to support humanity, obviously, and our brothers upstairs and downstairs, obviously. But we've got to take a little bit more action, guys, a little bit more action. Okay, let's move to, because there's so many different things you and I could discuss, and I love it. And, you know, I just want to honor you as well. I want to honor you for the child in you, the mother loving woman in you, and the elder in you, the elder goddess, the elder. And I forget who I was talking to, where like, God damn it, if we hear the word crone one more time, we're gonna punch someone. You know, crone does not exist. Like, I know you're gonna say, I don't want to be a little girl, I don't want to be a 20, 30 something, even a 40 something. No, thank you. I'm very happy right here. I could do the few less wrinkles, but right, because what a glorification of the wisdom that we hold of all the lifetimes that we've had, Barbara-Jean, Lindsay, right? So there's no friggin' crone, death dying old bag off to the side. No, it's a goddess, or it's a queen, or it's a whatever you want to call it. What would you call it? This level of wisdom that we have, that others and our sisters have too.
I call it the queen. That we're the queens, that we deserve a position of power and respect and honor. And if you're lucky, we might give you some words of wisdom that can help you stop from going down many, many roads, and help you have a much easier, loving, vital life filled with joy and love and creativity. If anything, we're missing that. We have to get back to that. I think the creativity part, I know that's off the goddess part, or off the mother, goddess, queen, crone, lover, you know, energy, and also from a cosmic perspective, I've had many lives as a male. And so if I need to power up, I will. If I need to put shields up, I will. If I need to protect, I'll protect. I can bring that energetic force in for sure, especially if you do any kind of public shows or venues, or you've got to have that masculine part of you that comes in that protects. And so I also have that. When you get to this age, you're learning, and so you learn how to balance both those within you, the male, the female, and the cosmic part of you that is genderless, really. That's that part that is so full of love that it knows none of this. It's like, what's all this,
Yeah.
But I'm also going to totally enjoy having this body, this lifetime. I am. And so
Barbara, one thing you said now, because the audience, I mean, generally the audience that views, the audience that jumps in the live chat, hi guys, they're so beautiful. They are so on a journey. They're discovering themselves. They already know so much, and then they're learning more every day. They're letting old things go. There's always a few that they can only go so far in their level of consciousness where they are right now. And then they'll hit a wall when they hear someone say, like, well, I call us all queens, and we may give you some wisdom. And then they will stop there, and then they will turn to the negative, and they will attack. Well, BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey, she said she's a queen, and she's only going to impart wisdom wherever, she feels like it. And BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey is not saying that, Muppet. She's not saying that, but she's letting you know what time it is. Because, women like us, people like us, that sit on our platforms for free and give information that we want to impart to help. That's the energy. That's the level of energy where we're at. So we're not putting ourselves above, because we know there's an equality. But women like you just have a little bit more experience than some of the other boys and girls out there, right?
And I'm playing.
Right.
You have to have a sense of play in all of it.
But
If you're gonna
there are
shoot
people,
down
they just can't help it. They're
Yeah.
stabbing and jabbing, and there'll be a post, oh, she said this.
Yeah.
They're also from Loserville. They're looking for anything to take you down, rather than let your beautiful information just flow out there.
Yeah, I've had that where I've told my near-death experience, liar. It's from my favorite movie, one of my own one, Princess Bride, with Billy Crystal and his wife, when she goes, liar, like that. So people will say that. And I was really sensitive for a long time, and that's why it stops people from speaking their truth. I had to get tough, and I did, and it took some time, and it took a lot of tears, and it took a lot of strength. And I found that if I could lean on friends and teachers and guides to help me through all of this to where I am today, I probably should have been dead many times. You really look at it, and so once you get, I think I'm going to be 71, and I've had a lot of life experience, and so I get to not take things so seriously. I really don't care what people think. I really don't. I'm going to say what I want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it. And if you don't like it, then I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. And if you want to spread it, I think the light will always overtake the darkness. So I'm not worried about that either.
There you go. And that is a universal truth, definitely. And we're seeing that, which is why more and more people are coming to this information that you're imparting to us in particular. Now, let's go back to First Nation. One thing
Yeah.
I love about that statement, Barbara, and I'm so happy because I used to live in Canada myself for 2
Mhm.
years in Calgary, Alberta. I love and respect that the First Nation, the Indigenous people, are called First Nation. Now, America needs to get its ducks in a row, go back down the historical timelines, and get a clue as to who was here first. It was the First Nation, and
Yeah.
how rude Americans' culture has been. Oh, yeah, you choose to get triggered, but you've all been lied to as well. Some of the names that are given to our beautiful Indigenous brothers and sisters are harmful names. The names of their tribe, you know, Navajo, Sioux, some of these names translate to mean, cruel, unkind things. And we are changing that too. Just so
Yeah.
we tell the controllers out there, that's what time it is, sweet cakes. That's what time it is. So let's move to your beautiful acknowledgement of First Nation. And please feel free to impart, because you are also of this beautiful heritage. May you share some of that with us, and may you
Okay.
anything First Nation teachings.
I'm 1%. Okay. So, you know, and I was surprised. I met Chief Geronimo way back in the day, and it's a whole story how I met him. And he said, if people asked me that I was I'm Lakota, I was taught in Lakota traditions, but that I am Apache at heart, and no one can mess with me. And so um and I worked with the Lakota chief for many years, and I had the healing center in Santa Cruz for 8 years and worked with him. And he would come and his family, and they would pour a sweat lodge and do an inipi ceremony every Friday night for the public for free for 8 years. And we offered that to the public. And in that, I learned how to have a relationship with the earth, how to really go down into the earth and be one with the earth. Now, when I was up in my NDE and up in the cosmos without a body, working with the council there, they showed me the earth and my relationship with the earth. They showed me a hologram of the earth. And in that, I became one with her and she became one with me, and I cried and I thought I got it. I thought I got it. And I got it in a cosmic way, and I probably got it on a whole bunch of other ways. But to really come and be on this earth and be with her during this transition is to go into the earth and be with her, and in your heart and in your soul and your breath, and you know, and the beauty of her and the beauty that exists on this planet. We just open our eyes and see it. It's like it's that's that wonder, that wondrous child within. Like I'm looking out on my window right here. I have all these trees, and there's probably 60, I'm probably exaggerating though, I'll say 20 different shades of green that are just so incredible. So it's hope. It gives me hope when I'm centered and when I'm in the earth. It gives me hope that we have a chance, that a human can transcend this space and time, and where the people who have been the oppressors get their justice. I would like that. I would really like that. See justice served, right? And then so that the earth herself can transcend and do what she needs to do. She's going to do it with or without us, but it would be really a beautiful honor and respect to be with her. I'm probably on a tangent with her. I can just feel her right now. My heartbeat is with her. She's with me. And it is a female planet. I didn't know that till when I was up on the ship. When they told me that, I had no idea. And do I recycle? Not so great. You know, so you can have the concept, but do I walk my talk? I try to. I really try to with her in every way that I can. And I do give tribute to her every morning on where I burn sage every morning and talk with her, and hang out with her and see what she has to say, So I work with a tribe of grandmothers on the inner circle from way down in that I met in meditation. So you can really have, if you don't have to go out into the earth, but it'd be good to go out in nature. It really would. And just sit there and have a talk with her because she's right there. And you think I'm old. She's really, really ancient in wisdom,
Right. I don't think you're old, girl. Are you kidding me? Like, people need to get a clue too. We're living till a minimum of 100.
Yeah.
And then people go, they plug into the program like, oh my God, how am I going to afford that? You ain't got to worry about that because everything's coming down. We got to stop putting our life experience based on how much money is going to last us. That's an evil, evil, disgusting program. Again, taken down. Totally. Now, you cannot get away from this particular broadcast without sharing a bit more information on Geronimo. How did you meet him? Tell us.
How did I meet who? I didn't get that.
Geronimo.
Oh, Geronimo. Okay. Well, all right. So this is right after my NDE, and I started firewalking. That's a whole story. And a friend of mine got 2 tickets for the price of one to go to Arizona. So she asked me if I wanted to go for free because I had, at that time, single mom, no money, no anything. So I said yes, and I went. And when we're there, I have no money to buy things. So I'm with about 3 other women, and they all want to buy things. And so I don't have the money to do that. But so what I started doing when we go into the stores, I would say, is there anything spiritual happening here? Is there anything spiritual happening here? And they would say no. And then we go to the next store and they'd bring more bags, with them. And we go to the next store. And I would sit there and talk with the owner and they go, well, it got to where are you going to say? And I go, is there anything spiritual happening here? And they would say no. And we went to lunch and they said, well, aren't you going to ask the waitress, is there anything spiritual happening here? And I would ask her and she would say no. And they would all laugh. So it got to be a joke all day long, right? So we got on the elevator that night and these 2 gentlemen walk into our elevator and they goose me and they say, hey, are you going to ask him? And I go, no, I'm not going to ask him. They go, aren't you going to ask him? I go, is there anything spiritual going on here? And the guy goes, nope. And I go, okay. And so they laugh. Like, what's that? And so then they start to go out and he goes, wait a minute. He goes, hold the door. He goes running down the hallway and he comes running back with a map. And he goes, I think you're supposed to meet Chief Geronimo. And he goes, and when you meet him, please bring him some tobacco and tell him, and I forget the guy's name, that I sent you. And so that's how I met him. And so I ended up the next day, they didn't want to go. And I told them if they didn't go, I was going to hitchhike there. I swear to God, I was going to. And so they ended up having mercy on me. And we went and I spent the afternoon with him. And it was right before his birthday. And I met, and he showed me all the pictures of him on the wall. So it's Chief Geronimo's grandson. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so and I still have a picture of him. It's in, I don't have it here, but he signed the picture of him with 3 horses and he's in the back. It's the one that everyone sees. That's him and his mom when he's 10 years old behind the horses. And he told me he didn't find out he was Geronimo until he was 10 years old. And the tribe didn't either because they were protecting him. But he has all the pictures of him with the presidents, all the different presidents, and he did some acting as well for fun. But what he told me and why I was there is I had a drum that I brought and I was teaching firewalking, and I really was starting to have my journey of building a relationship with the earth. And that's when he said, and he drummed and he said, if anyone asks you, I give you permission to do your work with the public. And as a white girl, okay, shall we just say it, as a white girl that knows nothing, but my heart was open and my intention was pure. And at that time. And so he drummed and he said, blessings for my work. And if anyone asked me that I was learning Lakota traditions and I was Apache at heart. And so I ended up giving him my drum as a birthday present to him. So as we're leaving, he's drumming and he said, blessings for myself and my family and the next generations. So whenever I needed strength doing drumming and singing native songs, he helped give me some of that strength that I needed during those first days, because I didn't know what I was doing, where I was going, or what was up.
Right.
But I just know I had to do what I was doing.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So if I get this right, you're saying that the grandson, grandson of Geronimo, the beautiful, beautiful First Nation, I mean, such a beautiful legacy that he left for us, is the reincarnation of his grandfather or his great-grandfather. And at 10 years old, he was told, you are the reincarnation of. Is that what you're saying to us?
Well, no, he was his real grandson.
Yeah.
By blood.
Oh, they didn't tell him that he was the great-grand. Okay, got it.
He actually really was.
Yeah.
No, he actually really was the
Right,
great.
right.
So yeah, he really was.
So
the chances of me meeting someone like that, and my whole life has stories like that, you know, where if you're on the spiritual path and you really, I see, I had all the stuff. I know you went through this, Danny. I had all the stuff, right? I had the cars and I had the houses and I had all the money. I had all that, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. And so when you become a seeker of truth. And when you become a seeker of truth, you go out and you look for knowledge. And I've been doing that for 30 years, you know, and gathering all these jewels or gems, shall we say, you know, about life and how it works, and on the edge, and with artists and musicians and poets and healers and seers and pagans and witches and Christians and you know, all of it. So
like lions and tigers and bears. Oh my
yeah,
God.
exactly. And I spent some time in Israel and Turkey, and I've traveled quite extensively, and that's happened magically as well. So how does a young girl from Sacramento, California start the spiritual path? I just knew there had to be something more. And the faith in that just kept having me go one step after the other. And so when it got really tough, people would show up. I ran out of gas somewhere going to some clinic, and I'm at the gas station, and I couldn't help it. I start crying. So this guy comes and goes, "What's wrong?" I go, I need to get somewhere and I don't have the money. I left my wallet at the house. And he goes, and he filled up the tank for me.
Wow.
You know, you have that. We have that kind of things happen, you know.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a line, I was in a line at I'm not going to say which one, a fast food place while I'm on the road. And I saw someone who needed food. And so I went and got food for that person and gave it to them. And without judgment, but with blessings for that person, because we don't know where we're going to be, how we're going to go, and what's going to happen. But if we can all help each other through this, and it is that where we go together in this. So stop all this isolation, competition bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time. That's what time it is. Well, let us wrap this round to where we started, which was giving people information and a tool to recognize and ask themselves the question, am I in my body? Can you give us a little synopsis again, please, of the best ways for people to recognize that and pull their energy in?
What they could do right now if they're watching is they could just put their hands on their cross. I like this, and I put it on my heart, and I close my eyes. And when you close your eyes, you can just visualize all your energy coming back to you in a big, bright white light about 3 feet above your head. And it'll come in like a big swirl, like sometimes it comes in like a tornado. So I call back my energy I just call back my energy, and you can just call it back. I call back any of my energy that I've given anyone. I just call all my energy back wherever it is, whatever nook, whatever cranny, wherever it's been, whatever timeline, you know, because where thought goes, energy flows. And so I'm calling back all my energy for now. And I'm going to swirl it above my head about 3 feet in this bright, beautiful white light. And then I'm going to just let it pop like a balloon and funnel down through my chakras and the eighth chakra and spiral down and fill up the top of my head, through my face, through my neck, through my shoulders, through my arms, through my hands, down my chest and my back, my stomach and my lower back, my the rest of my body, down to my knees and my legs and my toes. And now I'm going to fill up that white light all the way through every essence of every speck of myself within my body until I glow. And it shouldn't take too long, and you'll start, and you'll know when you're finished, when you're every aspect of your body. And so you start to, then you can kind of pump up the third chakra and start to glow and power up from within, so that you're glowing from the inside. And you know that's your energy because it feels amazing. And just hold it there for a minute. And then what I like to do is, if I'm going to go out in public, I'll put up a symbol that's of importance to me, and I'll put it in front of my heart, right on the edge of my auric field in front of me. And I'll put it to the right of my auric field, to the back of my auric field, to the left of my auric field, about 3 feet above my crown and 3 feet below. And then I'll give it a little bit of a spin. So this is my spaceship. This is my energetic field. And this is me, and it feels good, and I can give it a color, and I can do whatever I want to do with it until I'm ready then to open my eyes and take on the day or go wherever I need to go.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much for that. I know there'll be people out there who are grateful for the time, for the wisdom, for the stories, for your energy, and for your beautiful insight. So I want to give you an opportunity here to tell people about your upcoming classes. Classes will be in session May 18th, everybody.
Yes.
BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey. So I'm going to put you back on full screen again so you can let the public know, the
Okay.
beloveds know that your availability.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been teaching classes for a while, but I have a school called Esotera, and you can find me at esotera.us. My new classes start May 18th. It's an 8-week class from 7 to 9 would be Pacific Standard Time. It's 1 hour of teaching and 1 hour of hands-on. And so we'll be doing psychic readings that first night. So you'll practice your psychic abilities that very first night. And we'll go through the course. It's about your inner beingness and your connection with the body, the soul, the spirit, and then we'll go through all the different abilities as a psychic and being a sensitive. Kind of, it's about being a sensitive in a world that isn't set for that. So it's about that. So you can go to esotera.us. You can write me at barbara@esotera.us. I'd love to talk to you about it. I do readings. I love to do readings. I've been doing them for years. And you can reach me at esotera.us. And I will write you back too. So thank you, Danny. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you're a joy. You know, I see the wisdom. You know, I know that you have a beautiful presence on our planet. You honor our planet. You honor humanity. You have done the hard work, the tough work, the grind and the grunt. And I'll support you in every way I possibly can. You know, all girls and guys together. And I was saying to you earlier, I need to see more people bringing other people on their platforms. Goodness gracious, you know, and like people with massive platforms. Get people with, it doesn't matter what the viewership is, but come on, you know, we need to be doing this. I'm not seeing enough of it, and I would like to see more of it.
Yeah, let's uplift each other, and that's where the fun is.
That is so where the fun is. Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, BARBERA-JEAN Lindsey, my darling, thank you again for being here and supporting us with your wisdom.
Thank you for having me. It's been a true honor and pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And to you guys out there, I know what you're thinking. You love this lady that way. You love her. I'm sure she'll be back with us in a few weeks, just to add more value and color to your life. In the meantime, hope that you did take some notes on these Sasquatch interactions that she kindly gifted you, and that you are welcome to look up her school, of course, Esotera.us, and know that her classes are in session May 18th, an 8-week class, and look up her Cosmic Oracle on Facebook and YouTube. All right. So thank you again, guys. My name is Danny Henderson, sending you love, and I'll see you soon.